indeed. Game day tonight. Florida State in the College World Series. We'll get to it momentarily. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. On Twitter, it's at Jay Cameron Show. Thanks to all of you listening, driving around town on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, and or watching on Warchant TV. Perhaps maybe you're catching up with us later today, and you're listening on the pod before you sit down with a tasty beverage to calm the nerves before Florida State faces Tennessee. Tennessee, the number one ranked team in the land. So you start the College World Series with a bang and test your mettle right off the bat. Appreciate you guys watching on Warchant TV and the Heisen Legal Law Firm chat. Speaking of which, Heisen Legal Law Firm dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Heisen Legal Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for free consultation. There's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Heisen Legal Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733, or you can visit HeisenLegalLawFirm.com. Heisen Legal Law Firm, your advocate in times of need, offices, Tampa. So, I woke up thinking about this game. I assume you did too, Tom.
Yeah, this has been a tough day to get through. It's better that it is today and not Thursday, because yesterday was a slog, but this is true anticipation. This is to the level of when one of my professional teams is playing in a final series or in a Super Bowl of sorts. And the reason I feel that way is because of the overhaul that we've seen, and because you're looking at the field and there isn't a prohibitive favorite. Use a good example from yesteryear in college basketball. Villanova under Jay Wright, there was a year there where you knew we need a Cinderella to somehow beat them, because if we see them in the bracket, we are going to lose. If we have their attention, they are going to destroy us. And sometimes Omaha has a field where there's one or two teams where, man, they got to be sleeping. They got to be sleepwalking, and it can't be in the best of three series. This year it's open. It's open. It's there for the taking. We have a real shot at it. Doesn't mean that we're going to get it, but I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see. This team feels like it's ready for the moment. I can't wait to see what they do in about 6 hours' time.
To your point that it's wide open, I had a couple of people ask me who I would favor, and I said all 8 teams are capable of winning the national championship. All 8 of the ones that are there are all capable of putting together a nice little run and winning the whole thing. You can make compelling cases. You can even make a case for Florida, who kind of certainly was fortunate to even be a part of this postseason. But you always knew that there was a dangerous element to that team. It's not like they haven't recruited. You knew they had talent. And if they put it together at the right time, they could win. When I saw that regional come out and they were there with Oklahoma State, I was like, man, they're probably going to win that regional. So I think it's fair to say that all 8 teams are fully capable of winning it all, and that includes Florida State University. So that part right off the bat gets you nervous. They're tough too, and I think one of the things that makes you eager to watch is tonight's starter. Jamie Arnold has faced really good right-handed hitting in the past and done well. If you think back now on the Clemson series, they have got a lot of good right-handed at-bats. And then you go and look at the Virginia game, Tom. Virginia can really hit. Jamie Arnold was great against both those teams. As you recall, everybody out there, that was Clemson's comeback, but that was not on Jamie Arnold. That was on our bullpen falling to pieces at the end. So, he's been good against good hitting teams. I brought up some numbers yesterday against ranked teams. So you feel like you have a guy on the hill that is of the moment, that can handle the moment, that is excited about the opportunity to play, as opposed to kind of being intimidated. Like they might lose. Tennessee might win the game, and hell, Tennessee could win the game handily, just as Florida State could win the game handily. But you don't feel like it'll be because they're overwhelmed. You don't feel like it'll be because they weren't ready to play in this kind of a game. Now, Tennessee is very, very familiar with the position they find themselves in. The 2 most experienced teams out there in Omaha, 4 of the 8 that are there, I guess you could throw Florida in this mix as well, but Virginia and Tennessee have spent a lot of time lately out in Omaha, and there are guys that, for whatever that's worth, can handle this experience because they've felt those nerves before. I think sometimes the conversation in baseball around handling an environment that you haven't been in is a bit of an overrated talking point. I don't say that because I want to mitigate the disadvantage that Florida State has, having not been out there in some time. But at the end of the day, I think that the old adage is true in baseball that your advantage is only as good as the next day's starter. I think people are allowed to ease into a game at every position except for the starting pitcher. The starting pitcher is under the gun immediately. From pitch one on, that starting pitcher feels the heat in a way that a position player can't, in a way that a hitter can't. Now, there may be aspects of having some familiarity with Omaha, the environment, the intensity of the emotions that you're going to feel, the added attendance. I think it's 20,000, so that's more than you play in every week. So obviously you may feel a little bit of that. The dimensions, we've talked about that too. It can feel like an awfully big ballpark. But I don't know that anybody feels it any more than a starting pitcher, and I just love our starting pitcher's demeanor. Doesn't mean he'll win. Doesn't mean he'll, be able to quiet a Tennessee team that led the country in home runs. But it won't mean to me anyhow that he's overwhelmed by the moment. That guy has a whole lot of what for. You heard him yesterday on this show. He's shown it time and again. It hasn't just been words. He's been a guy that's handled these situations very well. That's another reason to be excited is you feel like you got a hoss, you got a dude, you got a horse that can handle situations like this. I've covered teams, Florida State teams that have gone out there where I've thought, we're going to need 2 inches off the plate today. We're going to have to nibble. We don't have an arm that misses bats. We don't have a guy whose slider dots that back foot to righties and changes the projection, right? I mean, if you don't have stuff out there and you're facing elite offenses, you can be very nervous about all the things you're going to need to have to go right. I don't feel that way today. I don't think about that right here, right now. I think if he throws his slider for strikes early, Tennessee's in trouble. Anybody he faces, if he's throwing strikes to righties with the slider, they're in trouble. And so that's really what I'm going to be looking for. How often can he locate that pitch for strikes when he wants to? Now, he purposely throws sort of an out pitch with that isn't a strike. But he'll also throw that slider, Tom. You know the one I'm talking about, where he'll lead you sometimes with that and pitch you backwards, which allows him to then throw the fastball in the zone with that late life. If he's able to do that, I don't care who he's facing. He's good enough to get a lot of outs.
Well, I'll be interested to see how the wind is playing as well. You looking at it yesterday and bring it to Jamie's attention that it could be blowing in. Whether or not that changes his approach, once you get a few outs into the game and you might feel one, maybe you left one a little bit over the plate and he hits it. You put your hand up in the sky, turn around for your outfielders and hope, and then you realize, oh, it's short of the track. I think that can bolster confidence too. And we've seen that. We see it a lot in postseason baseball in the major leagues because it's so much colder out. And so the ballparks play a little bit longer. I'm interested to see if this game turns out to be, a race to 4, a race to 8. Because I do think ultimately, if we are to go the distance here, and we're still talking about this a week from now and previewing the final best of 3, which would begin a week from tomorrow. If we're still talking about Florida State baseball at that point, again, I feel it's the bats that are going to lead the way. The regional was great. What Dorsey did for 26 outs was unbelievable. Arnold the next day was very good. The next week, Dorsey gets you into the 6th. Arnold is very good, but he's not helped by his defense, and it's a scrappy UConn team. The first week was about more pitching than anything else. The second week was about those bats taking you where you need to go. I do think ultimately, not just in our game tonight, but I think across the tournament, it is the consistency of the lineups. It is the ability to drive in runs when they're in scoring position because the long ball is not something that you can count on. So those big hits, it could be a 2-out single. I don't care what. It could be a blooper, whatever it is. I think those are going to be the difference makers more than maybe a pitcher dominating or a pitcher being the headlining prospect that comes out of the World Series that Major League Scouts are talking about. So hopefully this lineup is ready to go. And it seems like this group is contagious. They like the big inning. You don't see a lot of ones scratch across. You see 2s and 3s and 4s. Hopefully it's the lineup that can lead the way. I think that's what it's going to have to be. If not tonight, then for the balance of the tournament as far as we go.
For Florida State defensively, we start with Jamie Arnold and how he has to be the stud that he's been all year long. That's a given. You can't have a guy that is your bona fide ace go out and get clubbed and expect to win. You might win. You might beat them up too, and you may win a 12-11 game. But obviously that is not ideal. So you need him to be good, and you need him to take you into the fifth. I mean, I would think he's got to pitch 5-6 innings here to give you a real solid opportunity. And then I think the other thing is defensively, that outfield has to play better than they've played at times. They have to be more athletic and cover more ground than they've had to in a lot of games this year. They haven't had to be elite defensively in the outfield because of Hauser's dimensions to some extent. And I think that every team that goes out there, if you're not fleet of foot in that outfield and teams are driving the ball into the alley, the teams that got guys that can get to those balls and cut it off and hold it to a single, or God forbid, make a great catch, a lunging catch of some sort to keep the hit off the board altogether, have a distinct advantage. So I'll be watching that very carefully. How fundamentally sound are they? What kind of jumps do they get off the bat in the outfield? You've got guys that are capable, very capable. I'm not telling you they're poor defenders, but they're not plus defenders unless Diamez Ross is out there at center. He's a plus defender. But Florida State, when we pick them apart and we talk about strengths and weaknesses, they have far more strengths than weaknesses. But if there is a weakness, in my estimation, it is at catcher defensively, and it is in the outfield defensively in terms of being able to get to more balls than, say, some of the more athletic groups we've seen in outfields that they've competed against. So those are the areas that I'll be looking very closely at. Feel good about most other things. You're either going to hit or you're not. We'll find out if they do. I think Tennessee's got to feel the same way. I mean, you're a Tennessee fan going into this game. You're facing Jamie Arnold. You know how good he's been. At the same time, if you're the Vols, you'd say, yeah, well, I have Blake Burke. I have Christian Moore, who hit 32 home runs. I've got the Driley kid or whatever. I think that's how you say his last name. He's got 20-plus home runs. Look up their roster. Look at our roster. They're very similar in the sense that there's a balance of power that goes up and down the lineup. They've hit more home runs. Their park is conducive to hitting home runs, I might say. So is ours to some extent. But, yeah, you see real balance of power. It's not like you see this dearth where you're kind of like, okay, 27 home runs, 19 home runs, 15 home runs, 4, 3, 3, 3, 1. Yeah, that's not them. There's a lot of guys that you make a mistake will make you pay. Florida State is big that way too. They play physical. They play strong. They up and down the lineup have a lot of guys, 7 of the 9 typically that you're looking at. You say, yeah, you leave one up belt high, they'll turn it around.
Well, that's the other thing. Again, last week I was glad to see the challenge that happened in Game 2 of the Super Regional, that they were pushed very hard by a veteran group that would not go away in UConn. Whether it was an at-bat, and it's Jamie Arnold throwing pitches, and he can't get the kid out at the plate. 96, he dots a slider, whatever it is. He cannot get them out. And UConn pushed Florida State in that way, and I think that helps. And it helps them, see past the adversity. I still am interested, though. We've talked about this earlier in the week. Routine grounder to the left side. First chance to make a play for Lodi's. Routine grounder to the right side. Faroe, runner on third, 2 outs. Did we make those plays? How composed are we? How composed are we? As much as I say, I think the team's mentality fits this stage, and it does. You still, the first couple of innings, I do want to see how they handle it from a mental standpoint, because I would anticipate that not just us, but many teams that are playing in their first game today and tomorrow combined are going to be a little bit shaky to start. It's just, do you erase that by a great pick at first base on an in-between hop? Do you erase that by getting an out, Jamie, if you need to, a fourth out in an inning and nothing across, pitches around an error? I want to see how we pick each other up, because there are going to be adversities like that. I'm not saying it has to be on the defensive side, But you have to imagine that butterflies are going to be a part of this a little bit earlier on. These are still young men, and this is quite the stage. But how quickly can you flush that and get past it?
If you have screwed up and not already got your dad something for Father's Day, we got to get off our butts and make it happen. Luckily for you, my friends at Social Kitchen TLH are there for you. SocialKitchenTLH.com to learn about what it is of which I speak, right? You can just swing by there off of Cary Forest as well. Why not on a Father's Day gift menu? Wouldn't you grab yourself a prime ribeye, perhaps a beautiful Cabernet Sauvignon to go with, and a cigar? They've got various packages that mix and match the wine, the Wagyu, the prime rib, all of it. It's also capable of you to, I guess you would say, really go all in and get your father a Butcher Box membership. 3 months is just $250. 1 month is just $100. All curated by a chef at an amazing value there at Social Kitchen. SocialKitchenTLH.com to learn more. You'd be wise to pull the trigger. You can give them a call today, 850-894-6261 as well, or swing by Cary Forest Parkway, Suite A, and say, I want that bottle of red with that ragu. And oh, by the way, throw in the cigar. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, and Warchant. Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653. Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
Not only does Swain Pools and Spas sell the best selection of hot tubs and spas in the city, but Swain also builds, services, renovates, restores in-ground pools. Is your pool ready for the summer season? Ask about our scheduled maintenance plans to ensure your pool is always clean, balanced, and ready for a swim. Does your pool have a leak, broken heater, or maybe needs some restoration? Is your pool showing its age and needs a facelift? Our renovation crew specializes in applying the latest modern techniques to transform your old pool into the oasis you always wanted. Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee's premier pool everything store. Call us today and we can answer all your questions. 850-386-7113. That's 386-7113. Or contact us online at swainpools.com.
And right next to Swain Pools and Spas is Tallahassee Car Care, the only repair shop where you can take a dip while we repair your whip.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. I'm just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Be proud of me, Tom. I didn't panic when the thing stalled. I just calmly fixed the problem and moved forward.
Well, that's good. I saw you shake your head in disgust. And I
made me mad because I didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, this is not my fault.
Now you understand why I did that so many times over the years where I would just... Yep, exactly. Put the two hands up to the sky and go, well, we're just going to sit here because the button's been hit, but we're waiting.
I don't know what you want me to do. I want to clarify something that's been good. I'm glad this has made the rounds. The last 24 hours, everybody has watched that clip of Link. And, when he's talking about solving for not having one out there. It's a great clip. It's a great representation of the intensity of Link Jarrett, the preparedness, the effort, the ongoing effort to dot I's and cross T's and figure it out. But I look at it as, and while I love that, and I love that intensity and focus and drive, I think we all want that, right? You want to see that from your head coach. I believe that most coaches that reach a level of excellence have that in them, have the focus and the desire and the want to and the goals before them. But the process, it really does matter how you go about this and what it means to the kids that you're coaching, to the young men that you're coaching, how it presents, how it represents when you're in the moment, when you're at a place like Omaha now with the opportunity before you. And you can't control a lot of things about baseball. It's one of the more maddening sports that you can ever watch as a fan, because you can know that a team is prepared and focused and is taught all of the right things and knows how and what to do when, and you can get a lot of bad breaks. We've seen it many times before where a guy is completely fooled. He gets jammed. He has, by rights, no business having that ball drop in for a hit. The pitcher won the mano-a-mano in that moment and lost the overall battle because somehow that ball found a place to drop, and now there's a runner at first, and the next thing you know, there's a ground ball to the right side that's a slow four-hopper, and now there's a runner in scoring position because they can't turn two, and then, it's a single, and you're down 1-0, and you've really not even made a bad pitch. These things happen. That's baseball's that way. It's a little bit like anybody can get got in boxing, right? If somebody's bat runs into one at the wrong time, it changes your fortune. It changes your game despite that intensity of focus and preparedness and want to and all of those things. So all I really want from my teams is a level of consistency in doing the right things and taking the right approaches and executing whatever the game plan might be. Let the chips fall where they may. If I've decided that I've got to pitch a dynamic hitter inside on his hands because all the statistical evidence I've seen over the course of a ton of at-bats tell me that he does not handle the inside fastball well, and I'm going at Christian Moore. I don't want to see him get his hands extended. He's hit 32 home runs this year. The guy's got power when he gets extended. So I'm pitching him inside, and the kid makes a whale of an adjustment, flips his hips early in the count, and drives one down the left field line off the pole. Hey, man, that's a doff of the cap. The other team's on scholarship, too. He's a good hitter. But were you doing what you were supposed to do? And I think the reason we feel comfortable and the reason we like our long-term chances and getting back to Omaha repeatedly is that consistency that I'm speaking of, right? That Link is going to have, and his staff is going to have these guys prepared for these moments, what they're facing, what they have to do to give themselves the best opportunities to succeed. And in baseball, that's all you can do. That's why your best teams who are fully capable of losing a series to the worst team in baseball also happen to be the teams that go on to win 100 games or 99 games, because over the course of 162 games, they execute the game plan correctly more often than not. They also might have better players. All of that is true. But when all things are equal, you just hope that the ability to execute, the understanding of the game plan, the mental preparedness is all in place. Maybe it doesn't work out for you. Maybe the other team's better. But if you do those things more often than not, you will put yourself in a position to succeed and win games over the long haul. That's the problem, though, also with a truncated tournament. That is the difficulty of a series, let's say, or a truncated tournament like this. The 50-plus game season, you had a ton of success because you were prepared to have success and you executed at a very high level, and game in and game out, you had a game plan that these kids really did a good job of fulfilling. But once you get here, it's one game, one night right now. And if you don't get lucky to per se, or the other team executes just slightly better, all of a sudden your dreams could go up in smoke. I just want to know that I've given my guys, or that I have a coach in the case of Florida State fans. Do you have a coach who's putting them in the best position game in and game out? Does he create a mentality and an intensity of focus that gives them the best chance game in and game out? And are you recruiting at a level that gives them the opportunity, because the talent's there, to win game in and game out? And I think we know with Link that that's going to happen long-term. I believe that is going to happen long-term. Hopefully it cashes in this particular College World Series appearance. It'd be awesome. We'll start with tonight's game against Tennessee. That'd be great. Let's check that box. But you just know that's where the anxiety comes from, Tom. It's that you could do everything right. They could be prepared. They could execute to a high degree. But baseball, as we like to say, is baseball.
Yeah, this is. I know poker isn't in vogue anymore like it used to be, but I think an analogy holds here. It's as though you're entering a tournament, a poker tournament, and when you start, you got 5,000 chips. But the first thing that you must do is put 2,500 chips to the middle of the table, and so will your heads-up opponent. And you both have face cards, and here we go. Here come the community cards. You know, you either win or you lose that first hand.
Yeah,
and it's like you didn't play the hand. You didn't get to choose your moment. It is before you. Here are your cards. King, queen offsuit. They got ace, jack offsuit. Whatever it is. And here come the community cards. You either win or you lose that particular first hand. And so you either walk out of there with 7,500 chips in the winner's bracket or 2,500 chips. And you still got a chance. But man, oh man, when you walk to that next table, you need to beat the other guy, amass the chips to even get back into the fight. You got to get back into the tournament here, because you got to go all in blind at that point. It's so out of your hands. And I don't understand what it is about baseball that makes you just describe some things, but you know, it's the same way in football in a big game. It's winner take all. It's the same thing if you make it into a high leverage college basketball game in March Madness. But for some reason, baseball, I think it's because you have time to consider how you will go out. You're walking the tightrope, but you get to see the ground 50 stories beneath you, you know, and you're a Walinda. There's something about the helplessness of baseball that resonates more and frankly makes a lead up to a game more difficult. Like when the Super Bowl, I was nervous, the second one the Buccaneers won against the Chiefs, but for some reason it doesn't feel as terrifying as a baseball postseason game does.
Well, I think there's a couple reasons for that, and I've often thought this, that I agree with you. Baseball's more stress-inducing, anxiety-inducing, because of the space and the room to breathe and the time between pitches. There's a lot to contemplate. You're right. You can contemplate good things happening, which still raises anxiety levels. You're still on your edge of anticipation, right, that something good may happen. But I think the other part of that is obviously most of us, when we're worried about the result of something, tend to create doubt and fear and loathing and all those emotions that we talk about. So we see this next pitch, unfortunately, in our mind's eye, being a double for our opponent that drives in the game-tying run or whatever it might be. That's how we view all of this. And I think that's why you have a lot of time to view all of that. You've got batters stepping out, catchers going to talk to pitchers, managers walking to the mound, contemplating making a move to the bullpen. You have that particular bullpen arm's history readily available between your ears. You know, every time they've come out of that pen, the ones in which they got it done and the times in which they failed you personally miserably. Those sons of bitches cost you happiness just last Tuesday. And we all know what that is. And so baseball is unique in that way. I would also throw this caveat to you. I think the reason it's very different than football is if I've got the biggest, baddest hombres in the world on either side of the ball, bigger, stronger, faster wins more often than it doesn't. Not necessarily true in baseball. Whole bunch of slappies can beat a whole bunch of burly men in baseball, and that makes you angry because might doesn't make right in baseball.
Yeah, I would agree that that's a principal difference. Even in hockey, I don't feel this. You know, in hockey can be goofy. It's as good as your goalie. You know, what is the adage about the next day's starting pitcher? Is like you're only as good as your next day's starting pitcher, something along those lines. Well, I think a fan's confidence is only as good as the bullpen that it's going to roll out the next day, because it doesn't exist the complete game anymore. It doesn't. Carson Dorsey's 26-out game notwithstanding, I don't think anybody expects that kind of length in the College World Series with these lineups, with this level of bat that you're going to see consistently game in and game out, for Jamie Arnold or whoever's ace to go 8 1/3. Like, that's just asking a lot. And even though we've got some guys that we've tabbed as our primary bullpen guys, and we do have a day off no matter what happens tonight, so there's time to recover, and there could be more aggressiveness of reusing dudes that you like in each game. I mean, I like Oxford very much, but sometimes old Ox is a little shaky too. So maybe that's part of the trepidation is, okay, even if things go well for the first 6 or 7 innings, batten down the hatches, keep scoring runs, guys, because the game's not over, and it's not to do with anything but our own guys. And Tennessee's lineup can only add to that bit of anxiety.
Well, I'll tell you this. We're ahead of schedule. So I think in years in which your team is ahead of schedule, you're more vulnerable because you've overachieved. And by definition, if you have a squad that has overachieved, you feel like they have outkicked their coverage, to use a football term. Meaning, like, when is it striking midnight? When's it all going to end? Because by rights, nobody expected this, although yours truly did bet on them to go to the College World Series. That said, I recognize that there are years in the future here with Link in the way that he assesses, evaluates, and recruits that are going to lead to fewer worries out of that bullpen. But that ain't this year. That ain't this year, my friend. Right now, he's found a way to make it happen. He's got good players. They've all done a great job, but they have not stockpiled bullpen arms to where I'll make up names now. You bring in Jerry. Jerry's doesn't have it today for some reason. He can't locate his fastball. Well, don't worry about that. I got Steve and Kyle ready to whoop that ass, and they've been good all year. One of those two are going to come in here and get some outs. They don't have that right now. They got that guy, maybe that guy. Yeah, that's what they got.
And they don't want to use that guy because he's the starter. But maybe they should. Maybe they should use that guy because let's go 1-0. Yeah, I think that's part of it. It's just a grind. In a way, I'm actually thinking that maybe we should have played the early game just to be able to get those butterflies to go away a little bit sooner.
I just think, though, honestly, and we got to go to break, and I want to do what I did yesterday and just talk for 40 minutes straight without breaking. But I will say this. I think you have to remind yourself, we really are playing with house money here. It doesn't mean you don't want to win any less, or any more, right? You definitely want to win, and you hope to win, and they are certainly capable of winning this game. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if late tonight we're having a celebratory beverage, Tom, and talking about the Noles 9-6 victory over Tennessee. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
No, well, that's the other thing about this group is I worry about the weakness, and I'm sure some of this is my professional stuff, and Florida State's so the Mets combined with Florida State hasn't won a College World Series leaves me, specifically me, as a baseball fan who is shaky. Because even in 2015 in the World Series, my ball club had a lead with 5 outs to go or fewer 4 times, and they won one of those games. So we're talking about ultimate disappointment in the 8th inning and beyond. And Florida State as a baseball program in this town has a few moments that make you smile, but most of them don't. Most of them don't. So that's probably part of the trepidation. But the other side of it is usually when you see a run of 23 wins turn into something close to 50, and you make that kind of run year over year, you walk out to Omaha as a prohibitive underdog. And that's not the case here, though. Like, this team could win it all, and it wouldn't be a shocker if they won it all. It's just, it's a bizarre place to be, because on the one hand, I'm nervous. On the other hand, damn it, we're just as good as any of these other teams out here, especially if we stay ahead of the curve and we win this first game. Man, we've got what it takes. That lineup has what it takes. And our first 4 or 5 arms that we deploy have what it takes to get the job done. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, 4 to 5s. That's a lot of belief you have there, Tom. 4 to 5
Arnold, Oxford, Dorsey, Whitaker.
That's about it.
Maybe
that's about it.
Joe Charles every once in a while.
That's about it. I think we're stopping at 4.
I said 4 to 5.
Yeah, there's definitely not 5. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Dadgummit. Looks like we're not taking the RV anywhere this weekend. The repair shop won't even answer the phone.
If this sounds like your RV mechanic, you need a better mechanic. Call Florida Georgia Mobile RV Service to get all the repairs and maintenance you need to keep your RV in shape year-round. Awnings, converters, electrical work, generators, hydraulics, roof leaks, plumbing, leveling, slide-outs, winterizing. We literally do it all, no matter what make or model RV you have. And we can do most repairs same day or within a few days. We can service your RV at home, storage lot, or even at your campground, and accept warranties and service plans. Plus, mention this ad and we'll give you a free roof inspection or AC performance inspection. Call us at 850-210-4244. That's 850-210-4244. Or just fill out the request form online at FloridaGeorgiaMobileRV.com. That's FloridaGeorgiaMobileRV.com.
Feeling hungry but don't want to leave the house? Download the Foodies Takeout and Delivery app and earn points and rewards on every order while supporting local at the same time. Other food deliveries like DoorDash and Uber Eats are taking upwards of 20 to 30% directly out of our local restaurants' pockets, while Foodies does not. Keep money local and support your favorite local restaurants such as El Jalisco, Gordo's, Jerry's, Smitty's Tap House, and many more. Download the free app today and start earning your rewards instantly. Just search for Foodies Takeout and Delivery in any app store or order online at foodiestakeout.com.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
When life spells heartburn, how do you spell relief? ROLAIDS.
What about when life spells fried chicken?
ROLAIDS.
Fourth cup of coffee?
Still ROLAIDS.
Extra cheesy pizza?
Rolaids always spells relief. Rolaids' powerful dual-active formula begins neutralizing acid on contact to fight your heartburn fast. So, when life spells heartburn, Rolaids spells relief. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Jeff Cameron Show rolling on a Libations Friday. That's a good thing, right? We're all excited about that. A little nervous, but we have each other to be able to talk through it. I think that's the best part, Tom. We got the gangs all here, whether it's the city of Tallahassee or all the fine folks on Warchant TV that are listening, the folks in the Heisen Legal Law Firm chat. We have each other to talk our way through the anxiety we feel. Normally, it's a loosey-goosey edition. I don't know if we can make it loosey-goosey today. We can try. I could find some goofy stories about animals attacking people, which would help maybe. But I don't know how loosey and goosey I can get this particular Friday.
That's tough. I've got it together a little bit, but I've been a mess today. This is because this is the first time in about 15 years that I've had this level of expectation in Omaha. I've forgotten what it's like. Underdog teams. The Mustache Mafia team that made it out there was an underdog team. We had the 19 group, which was, could it be? It would be a fairy tale that drags the Noles to a win in Omaha. It wouldn't have been the ability on paper. It would have been baseball and luck that would have gotten us there. But this is, since I was a student, I haven't felt like we've had a chance quite like we've had this year. But what makes me happy and does give me a little bit of pause and some levity is some of the numbers I'm seeing out at Pinehurst today. And Mackenzie Hughes, for example, who's a very good player out of Canada, fired an 82 this morning at Pinehurst.
Well, did you get the tweet I sent you? The cinematic review of the 8 that he took on the par 4. Did you get that?
No, did you direct message that to me?
Yeah, I direct message it to you. You're gonna have to.
Oh, really? Oh, that's funny that I was looking at the board and I was saying, ooh, where are the big numbers today? Who are the big names that are on the wrong side of the cut line? For example, the cut line right now is projected around 3 over, which is, man, that's a tough one to make. A lot of good names. Victor Hovland is in at 6 over after 2 rounds. Not going to be part of the weekend.
Yeah, it would appear that none of the golfers that I have in my other pool are going to be. It would appear none of them are going to be a part of the weekend. That just everybody just decided to throw up all over themselves. Whether it's Victor Hovland, what's Fleetwood at? Can you tell me where Fleetwood's at? Is he falling to pieces too? Is he going to make the cut?
Let me alphabetize this bad boy.
Jesus, man, it's been a brutal deal.
He's at 5, so he's going to need the afternoon wave to come back to him. He's at 5 and he's in. He's done.
Well, there's a good chance they will because the course is kicking everybody's ass right about now.
Yeah, the round of the day so far is actually belonging to 2 guys.
Yeah, or 66 for Matsuyama.
Yeah, Matsuyama's in the clubhouse at 2 under par for the championship, 66. That's 4 under today. And Thomas Dietrich is 4 under and tied for the lead. He's one of those that snap a photo if you're part of the Dietrich clan, because that won't happen over the weekend. But nice showing for him. Most everybody else is not in the red. A lot of big numbers out there today.
I'm going to note that heading into the weekend, Rory McIlroy is at -3, and he'll be within a couple of strokes of the lead as we tee it up on Saturday, and has comported himself with a degree of confidence that I haven't seen in a while at a major, huh? I mean, even when early on it looked like it was going to be a tough day, he steadied the ship there and kept it together on a day where scores are high. That'll work. To answer the question from, I believe this is Chris asking me, do I have any wagers for you guys in the College World Series? I doubled down. I took my winnings from having bet on Florida State to go to the College World Series and reinvested them at plus 850 to win it. But I've already secured my profits. And baseball's fickle this way. Like even Major League Baseball, it's a recipe for disaster to bet a lot of Major League Baseball, I've discovered. I think your best bets are betting the first 5 and removing the bullpen from any consideration when you bet baseball. If you find elite starters, then okay, you can bet elite starters through the first 5. Just bet on your team to have the lead through the first 5 when you have a good starter. But I don't bet on overall outcomes because bullpens are temperamental and will screw you, and you're going to start drinking at noon thinking about baseball wagers. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone unless you're betting horses. That's what I do. I'll take if you had bet, now Mitch didn't pitch well yesterday. Well, he didn't pitch poorly, but he didn't pitch great. Gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. But if you had bet Mitch Keller in his last 6 starts and just bet him first 5, you made a lot of money. Now, conversely, you may have been riding another hot arm that you thought would do well, and they didn't.
Yeah, for me, it's the total bases. Those are the wagers I like. When somebody's on a heater and or they are a platoon guy or a splits, the splits say that against a lefty, they do this versus a righty. Bet the over. Sometimes you got to work the market every day, but sometimes you'll find something along the lines of over 1/2, 0.5 bases for -140. And I'm thinking, hey, man, he's going to get walked. He's going to get walked. I know that there's a lot of juice on that. But then it happens, and it might be the 7 or 8 hitter, and he comes up for the 3rd time in the 6th inning, and you're grinding over. You're like, all right, come on, I'm gonna take that pitch. It's a great way to gamble baseball. It's a lot of fun. Total bases bets.
Optimus Climb writes and contributes. Thank you, Optimus Climb. With baseball and football officially back, just want to say I'm happy for all my Knowles and JCS friends. Jeff and Tom, got to be giddy beyond belief. Happy Omaha Friday, everyone. Go Knowles. Yeah, big picture he's talking about. He's talking about football is back to being a prominent figure amongst the elite. And so now is baseball, I think, here to stay. There's a, Ira's article on Link Jarrett on Warchant.com. I would go read it if I were you, because in there is first of all, it's a good article. But secondly, in the meat of that article, you get into some of the former players. I remember Jack Niles when he played here, and others commenting that, Meat's going to need Meat. Listen to me. All those years of talking to Meat, Link is going to need, I think, more than just the intensity of focus that I alluded to, and ability to assess and assemble a staff and all of those things. He's going to need more money. And I don't mean more money from a salary standpoint, but more money to help build up facilities, more money to help him in all of the technological advances he wants to utilize and bring in. He's been able to do some of that because you're outgunned by these SEC rivals that you're seeking to compete against and are competing against in this very footprint. It's 4 ACC teams right now, 4 SEC teams right now that make up the College World Series. That will be, I think, a similar refrain next year. But I think as time goes by, the SEC's advantage in baseball is the same one that it is in football. And what I mean by that is the financial advantage of making, in some cases, $20-30 million annually more than its competitors. And so per school. And that's where you get in trouble. And everybody thinks, well, how much, okay, build them a better stadium, bring in the bells and whistles from a technology standpoint. Yeah, well, that's well and good, and that's true. And you got to have NIL money for all of this as well. But I would tell you that you're not going to keep great coaches in this league the further removed we get, because the SEC teams that are failing, despite the financial advantages they have within that league, they'll say, well, this is unacceptable. Our cohorts are kicking our ass. And why are these ACC teams kicking our ass? Go take their coach. He knows what he's doing. He's doing it with less. And that's what will happen. That's why I've been worried about Lonnie this whole time at FSU with softball. I know most schools don't invest gobs of money in women's softball, but the ones who care and the ones who do and the ones who have excess monies to spend, the SEC and soon the Big Ten, will. They will. They'll say, well, I mean, we have all this extra money. We're not building chocolate fountains in our football-only facility anymore. We're not paying our head coach any more than we were 10 years ago, but now we have all this extra money because of the TV contract. Throw an extra $1 at that lady that's kicking ass at Florida State. Get her out of there. That'll happen.
Yeah, this is where these conversations just don't go away. Just because we don't have an update on a lawsuit in North Carolina or the state of Florida, these conversations, these realities do not go away for sports not named football. And they will come for football if you're not careful, especially in the era of NIL. And if the university is going to be empowered to turn over $20 million or whatever it is, thanks to the congressional deal that might be struck, that you could turn over $20 million from the university budget directly to the athletes. But this is where, I'll apply basic economics to a complex situation. But we're investing a lot in long-term projects right now. We're investing a lot in Doak. We're investing a lot in the football-only facility. I got to imagine we're investing more in the football operation, given that Mike Norvell just got to raise himself and wanted assurances.
Well, it was also part of the deal, yeah.
As part, I mean, so we're investing more in multiple ways in football specifically beyond the football only facility in Doak. So I mean, you're stretching yourself thin there. Link has demanded through achievement more investment. Let's name Doak. You know what I mean? Let's put a logo on whatever we need to do, whatever billboards we need to sell. I mean, look, college football is now allowed to put sponsors on the 25-yard lines.
Yeah. Also,
yes,
the Big 12 is selling conference naming rights. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Jim, you're going to be this next way. You know, we got to think outside the box. Well, here's another opportunity where the Big 12 is racing laps around you. You'll be second to the market to go get a conference sponsorship. Can't rely on him to do anything. Let's sell the naming rights of Hauser. You're going to have to bridge the gap. I would prefer not to dip into private equity if you don't have to.
No, I would prefer not to do that as well. Sorry.
It's like bringing the mob into the restaurant. You know,
Correct.
like, Uncle Tony's going to, he's just got a piece of the operation of my restaurant. Well, what does that tell you?
It tells me they're going to burn it down within a year.
But we need the bridge. So in order for this is the back half of Ira's article. It's free for anybody who wants to go give it a shot as well on warchant.com. Man, these realities keep coming back, and that's why it's critical in the big picture. We find ourselves a new home. We find enough money to bridge it from here to there.
Yeah. No, sooner the better. We got to get out of here. There's no doubt about that. You're going to keep finding yourself in this predicament where ultimately somebody just throws more money than you have to offer your coach, and they'll take your coach, and then you're in trouble. You start back at ground zero there, and we don't like that. Hour number 2 forthcoming. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio and War Chant TV. All right, we'll work through it, everybody. We'll be okay. One more hour, and then later on we got a little watch-along.
Attention Florida, are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Lika Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Lika Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Lika Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLikaLawFirm.com. Hyson Lika Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee.
The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Florida State and Tennessee meet today in the College World Series in Omaha, Nebraska, Charles Schwab Field. Tennessee, the $1.66 favorite. Seminoles plus 130 on the money line. Tomorrow, the Florida Gators taking on Texas A&M in Omaha. Gators are the plus 150 underdog. Texas A&M minus 195. Gators getting 29% of the bets that account for 59% of the money, which means sharp money coming in on the Gators to win that matchup with the Aggies. Major League Baseball today, the Tampa Bay Rays at the Atlanta Braves. Braves minus 205, Rays plus 198 over at Truist Park. OmahaSteaks.com, promo code VSIN to save $10 off your Father's Day order. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
Have you noticed the hype around retinol lately? It's all over my social media. But did you know you can get retinol in a body wash? Amazing, right? Olay Retinol Body Wash is packed with moisturizing vitamin B3 complex plus retinol to transform dry skin to visibly renewed in just 14 days. Try it the next time you shower and see the difference for yourself with Olay Retinol Body Wash for visibly renewed skin in just 14 days. And try Olay Retinol 24 Body Lotion.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent
Feeling
Mortgage
hungry but
Corporation.
don't want to leave the
Investors,
house?
are you
Download the
looking for a
Foodies Takeout and
creative way
Delivery
to
app
purchase
and
your
earn
next
points
rental
and
property?
rewards on
Are
every
you looking
order
to
while
get into the
supporting local
Airbnb
at the same
space?
time.
If
Other
so,
food deliveries
you
like
need
DoorDash
to know
and
about
Uber Eats are
DSCR
taking upwards of
loans.
20
It
to
stands for
30%
debt
directly out of our
service
local
coverage
restaurants'
ratio.
pockets, while
These are
Foodies does
loans
not.
that
Keep
do
money
not
local and
require
support your
traditional
favorite local
income
restaurants
verification.
such as
As
In
long as the
Anisco,
proposed
Gordo's,
rent
Jerry's,
covers
Swedish Tap
the
House, and
mortgage
many more.
payment on
Download the free app
subject
today
property,
and start
that's
earning rewards instantly. Just search for Foodies Takeout and Delivery in any app store or order online at foodiestakeout.com.
This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation. Investors, are you looking for a creative way to purchase your next rental property? Are you looking to get into the Airbnb space? If so, you need to know about DSCR loans. It stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. These are loans that do not require traditional income verification. As long as the proposed rent covers the mortgage payment on the subject property, that's the only income you need. If you're looking at investing and don't know if you can qualify, let's set up a plan to get your next income producing property and start putting you on a path to passive income. Give me a call at 954-369-6171. And don't forget, every fellow Knoll that we close a loan for, I will personally make a donation of $250 to the Battle's End. It's Shannon Young at 954-369-6171.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373030.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
as we had weird things happening here back in studio, but thanks to all of you who alerted us to that. I appreciate the input, but believe me, as I scampered around trying to fix said problem, I was well aware that things were happening, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's kind of nice to put the crisis manager, program director, ops manager, engineer hat back on, even for a couple of minutes. You FaceTime me. We took a look at the computer system together. That reminded me of being in my late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is that I'm glad that I'm calm. I didn't flip out. I'm like, I've done nothing wrong. We can go to court on this one. I did nothing wrong. This is just weird nonsense that's happening in here. I'll worry about it later, but it ain't on me.
So when you go to break for behind the scenes, there is this giant play button that you hit in a computer program. It's a giant gray and black play button. And you must have mashed that thing, what do you think, 12 times, 15 times?
If I did once, yes.
So that's happened to me in the past at the old place at ESPN. And it came back with 15 elements playing at once. I'm just glad that did not happen to you as we sorted through it, because that takes about 5 minutes to fix.
Yeah, no, we would have just been like, you know what? I'm already nervous. This game's starting soon enough, guys. Let's go have a beer. We're going to call the second hour a day and be done with it. No, we're not going to do that. By the way, Thomas Dietrich, your leader at the U.S. Open, tied with Patrick Cantlay. Cantlay on the course now. Dietrich in the clubhouse. Speaking of relaxing, he shot 400 a day, or is shooting 400 a day through 16 on a day where it's been tough to score for most. So that'll be fascinating. In the clubhouse, Bryson DeChambeau, one stroke back. He's done with his round today. Shot a 69. Tallahassee's own Ludwig Oberg, as they say now, is on the course, just getting his round started. We'll see. Rory McIlroy in the clubhouse shot a 72 today. Not a bad score when you look around what's happened. He's set -3, 2 shots off the lead currently. And what a good day for Hideki Matsuyama, who is steady Eddie in majors, man. That guy is not afraid, Tom. That's what we would say about Hideki Matsuyama. He is not afraid. Shows up, plays hard courses really, really well. And if he ever makes putts, he's always going to be involved because he hits it so straight.
Yeah, I'd say congratulations are in order, even though he likely is not making the cut, to Florida State's own Luke Clanton, who yesterday fired a 76 at the U.S. Open on a course as difficult as Pinehurst. He's on the 18th hole working on an even par round of 70. If he can get home in par in his final hole today, he's going to beat the scoring average of the best. So it doesn't look like the cut is in his future per se. Impressive day for Luke Clanton, who was just playing in a U.S. Open match. Listen to me, a national championship match just a couple of weeks ago. And then Frederick Ketrup is on the good side of the cut line early on in his second round. He's at 3 over. Right now, the projected cut is at 3 over. You know, we all know that Brooks is at even after the first day. But for those Noles that have just completed their collegiate careers or are playing as an amateur, impressive turnouts by Florida State. Well done.
It is well done. It is fun to watch, and I can't fathom it. I've had the good fortune of knowing some of the kids that have come through this program and had these conversations in various forums, either on site or I've had a couple of them on the old Sirius XM show on the PGA Tour channel where we would have these guys come on. And you're not supposed to ask the question of golfers in general, especially not young ones, whether or not they're nervous, right? Trey used to get so mad at me when I would bring up nerves or, this feeling, this sense of dread about how difficult a course was, or all eyes being on you in like a Walker Cup or something, And he'd be like, can you not ask them how nervous they are? It's tough enough to try to block that stuff out, Jeff. And when it's your first question, you're introducing them, or at least the opportunity, to get nervous all over again if they had shoved it down. But I can't imagine going to play this course where you can hit great shots and not be rewarded. I mean, great shots and not be rewarded. We saw a couple of guys today nearly hole out from over 100 yards away, only to have it roll off the back, or there's so much spin that goes down into the ditch off to the left and then back into the bunker. I mean, that's a tough one to overcome. It's, they talk about keeping control of your emotions in these situations. If I hit a shot on the number as well as I can hit a golf shot and it nearly goes in and I'm still chipping, that'd be tough. That would frustrate you a little bit.
Did you see that Scotty Scheffler showed his ass today.
He's been frustrated from the first hole.
Well, he's likely not to make the cut. He shot 74 today. He's at +5. The field would have to very much come back to him in the afternoon wave for him to make the cut. Now it's possible, but he missed a putt on his front 9. I think it was the 16th hole, but his 7th of the day, and he threw the putter. He flipped it. He let it flip 2 times and let it hit the ground and let it hit the. Usually they catch it.
Yeah, usually they catch
he
it.
Showed no interest in catching it. No. Okay, Scotty. I don't know if that was the police thing or being the new dad and not getting enough sleep, but something is irritating you, and I'm not sure it's your mechanics.
Oh, I'm going to argue that it's definitely the mechanics. Maybe not with that putt. You're right about the putt. The putt you just missed. But he's been weird off the tee. He can't figure out the driver right now. It's been strange. Like, he's hitting a draw when he's trying to hit a fade, first of all, which would piss off anybody. I mean, you talk to any golfer, like, I am attempting to hit a little buttery cut fade, and I've got a damn hardcore draw going. This ain't it. Or if I'm attempting to hit a fade, I'm attempting to hit a draw and I hit a fade, you'll see those guys flip out about that. They tend not to like to see ball flights that are not customary to their swing.
So far be it for me to call the downfall of the player who's playing the best since Tiger in his heyday for a consistent period of time. But I don't think Scotty Scheffler at age 40 or 45 is going to have the foot action that Scotty has right now with a driver, where he's like dancing all over the place, because as he gets later in his career, if he falls, he's going to be injured and he's going to land on his hip, and it's not going to be a good outcome. I want to put this out there. Tim Lincecum vibes. Who's going to fix that if it goes wrong? To be the elite player that he is. Now, I'm not saying he won't be one of the top players in the world, but to be as consistently elite as he is, that's one hell of a move that he pulls when he's teeing the ball off. Now, he's a little bit more controlled everywhere else, and he's a really good player outside of the greens. But if you got driver issues because your feet aren't doing what they're supposed to do and your putter ain't exactly great, you can be human suddenly, and he at least is for this week.
It'll be interesting to see if he makes the cut. +5, you said, and he's in +5?
Yeah, he's done for the day. Yeah, +5.
Aubert just went to -5, I might say. There we go, Ludwig. Come on, Tallahassee's own. We're going to continue to celebrate Tallahassee's own Ludwig Aubert as he makes another run at it. That was the funniest thing at Augusta when he's making a run, and it's like the city kind of figured it out all at once. I don't know if your text feed read that way, but all of a sudden, between email, Twitter, Instagram, people who know me, who have my numbers, texts, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you know that guy lives here, right? We all said it simultaneously because like 3 people knew and began to tell all their friends in the golfing community, or FSU community, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, that's right. You did know it though, Tom, but it seems to me we didn't talk about it. If we did, I ignored you.
We did. That's why I was a little disappointed, because you texted me, did you know that Ludwig is from? I'm like, yeah, man.
I feel like you said it in passing at a time where he wasn't like doing well. Like it would have been just a fleeting comment, not a point you were making.
Good point. I will save my insights for when things are going well. No,
I think like if you tell me that some slappy who's in 39th place and is 15 shots off the lead, and that guy once drove through Tallahassee, I might forget you said that.
That he calls the Legacy course home. Like that's what I was saying. And you know what? I'm not comparing it to Pinehurst. Don't get me wrong here, because Pinehurst is Pinehurst.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of shots on those green complexes over there at that particular course that are rewarded with a 40-yard pitch when it should be a 10-foot putt. Because the undulation there and the green speeds there are the truth. And so here's hoping at some point he says, well, the Legacy, it just prepares you. I feel so prepared for playing at Jack's course in Tallahassee.
Let me tell you something. Trey Jones is hoping he says that as well, because that would be remarkable. And I do think there is maybe an element of that. I mean, it's crazy. That course, you can hit great shots and get absolutely bent over. And, you got to test your mettle there emotionally when something like that happens. I'm sure Ludwig's like, no difference. No different than when I'm at Legacy. Happens all the time.
Oh man, yeah. On the 6th hole there, it's a long par 5 up the hill. I'm in a place where you don't want to be, which is a bunker middle of the fairway, about 50 yards away. That's a tough shot. It's a tough shot. Pin on the front. I hit a beautiful runner out of the bunker. Explosion shot, releases on the front edge of the green.
Everything you want. Yep.
And it keeps going, and it keeps going, and I've got 80 feet coming back the other way up a hill. Okay. So when I see this at Pinehurst, I'm like, I can relate. I've seen it.
Just got to say to yourself something I say on the show all the time about any number of events that we document. That's a toughie. That's a toughie. Gonna have to walk all the way over there and putt this from 80 feet when it nearly went in the hole.
Could have been the best bunker shot I hit in my life, but doesn't matter now, I guess.
I probably couldn't have hit that better than I'm not sure Scotty could have hit that better than I just hit that. And here we are. 80 feet for par.
I wish Scotty's feet would do what they do for driver in the bunker. So he's just kicking up sand and he's
snapping ankle. So this is hour 2. It's not hour 1. I'll ask the same question. You feel good? Feel all right? Still anxious? Ready to roll? Can't get to be 7 o'clock fast enough? What say you?
Talking to you is fun, man. It calms me down. It's like what, you're right. The community is what gets you through a time of nervousness. Because even it's not on the level of baseball, before a rivalry game that's very important, or a November game, and for some reason you have a big conference game and this opponent's top 10 and they're coming to town, and the magnitude of the moment, especially in the days before there were 12 seats at the table in the playoff. What got you through those nerves? Well, cold beer, and also the people around the tailgate. You would throw the ball around, you listen to some music, you'd have some conversations. The next thing you know, for a 7 p.m. kickoff, we got there at 2. It's now 5. I mean, we're basically there. Well done, everybody. That's. So I'm feeling a little bit better is the way I'll answer it.
Well, I'm again going to remind everybody of what I said before, which is that this is house money. Regardless, I want to win. But if they were to fall, if they lose, and they, I want them to play well. I think that's you'd really hate it if they had a out of character game where they just played poorly, kicking the ball around and Arnold doesn't execute his pitches and starts walking people. He doesn't walk people, like Jamie Arnold does not walk a lot of people. If all of a sudden something like that were to happen, in fact, Jamie Arnold has 155 strikeouts this year and 22 walks. That's doing some things, my friend. I mean, that is like, let's get to. I do think that early on, and I'll repeat this. Watch that slider. You got to see that he can throw that for strikes whenever he wants to. There are times when obviously he's not trying to throw that in the zone, but if he is and he can't get it in the zone for strikes and they can sit dead red. This is a fastball hitting team. Most good hitting teams are fastball hitting teams. They're going to flesh out whether or not a pitcher has his other pitches for the day. They don't want to have to hit breaking balls. They don't want to have to hit change-ups and fastball counts and all that stuff. So they're gonna fish. Florida State does the same thing, by the way. Florida State does a very good job of kind of being patient to find out, do you have your pitches today? Whatever that might be, the scout is there. They know, all right, this guy throws fastball, changeup, slider every once in a great while. He'll mix in a curveball. If he beats us with that, he beats us with that. Don't sit on that. Let's see if he can throw his other pitches for strikes. But the problem you have is that the really good pitchers establish it pretty early. And now you're at their behest. You're really in trouble. If he gets ahead in the count, Jamie toys with people. He really has all year long. So let's see if he can get ahead against these hitters that lead the country in home runs. Falling behind against a team that has guys that have 20 home runs, 23 home runs, 19 home runs, 17 home runs, and 32 home runs. Those are all actual people in the lineup. That's death. Now, maybe the ballpark mitigates some of that power, but that works both ways. So we'll see. Does he get ahead early on? And I'm really excited because I think he's going to pitch aggressively. I think he's going to pitch confidently.
I saw an over-under earlier in the Heisen Lika chat about strikeouts at 7.5. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to judge. But I would offer up this over-under to you. 5 1/3. Over-under 5 1/3 innings for Jamie Arnold tonight. What do you think?
It's a great number. I drove here actually pondering that because I wanted to bring this up as a talking point. So thanks for allowing me to do it. These are high anxiety innings. Both starters tonight are going to be under the kind of duress you seldom see. First of all, you can't mirror the atmosphere of Charles Schwab Stadium in Omaha. You can't do that. At no point, not the SEC tournament or the ACC tournament, not the sub-regional, as I call it, or the supers. None of that is as intense an atmosphere with as much on the line as you'll have here. And then the other part of that is in all of those other places, especially like Florida State against UConn or Tennessee against Evansville, there were outs in the lineup. Now, I'll grant you, UConn, especially in game 2, they're tough, man. They were tough, and they really forced you to beat them. You had to play good baseball in key situations to beat them, and they battled you with their ABs. But, man, those kinds of teams aren't 1 through 9. There are 4 or 5 guys that you worry about, 3 or 4 maybe that you worry about on Evansville and UConn. Tennessee's lineup, pretty much outside of the one freshman that starts, is very much top to bottom a problem. And I would argue, despite who's ever playing catcher for Florida State, everybody else is a problem in this lineup, or can be a problem in this lineup. So, I mean, I think the stress these guys are under is going to be pretty intense. It'll be hot out there. I would probably, given those circumstances, bet the under on that, Tom. I think it's a great number. Let's put it this way. I'm not betting that. He could give us 5 2/3. He could give us 6. If Jamie Arnold gives you 6 tonight, he's pitched well, and you should win the game. Now, obviously, if he's out here, he's giving up 10 runs or something like that through 6. Well, that's a different discussion, but I don't think he'd be out there if he's giving up 10 runs. So the point would be, if he gets through 6 innings against this lineup, which you can argue is the best lineup in the country, boy, that is a fierce effort from an intense competitor in the biggest stage of all.
I feel like for every out he gets, your winning percentage goes up. Your chances of winning go up 4 or 5 percentage points, beyond, let's just say, the 4th. Like every out he accrues after that, there's a swing there. If he gets through 6, 6 1/3, 6 2/3, 7, you keep going, your chances of winning the ball game increase dramatically.
Oh, dramatically. Agreed.
But there's an interesting dynamic at play here, which is, again, that you have an off day built in because it's Omaha. So you can use your star relievers. You can stretch them out longer. You can use them and bring them in earlier. Now that we have a ton of them, but we have a guy or two that we like. And I would think that Whitaker would be available tonight for sure, right? Because
I think the fun question becomes, Tom, do you go to Whitaker tonight if you're up 5-2? Jamie's pitched 5 1/3. He's thrown 107 pitches. It's time to go get somebody. You going to Whitaker or are you going to Ox?
Well, if you're winning, so you're winning at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. If you play by the best case scenario, you're not playing. Whitaker wouldn't be needed till Wednesday at that point. If you can win and win again, so yeah, hell yeah, I would go to him. I'm
not only going to him, I'm going to him with the intent that he's going to finish it.
Well, and maybe that's his role here is, can you give me 40 pitches twice in a week? I don't need you for 70. I don't need you for a start. It's more valuable that I have you tonight than whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday. If we're playing into next week, we might not even be there on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I need you right here, right now, tonight. And I think obviously the built-in days off allow for that decision to be a little bit easier, the math to be easier for coach.
No doubt, I'll answer the question before we go to break. If the line is 7 innings pitched, 9 hits, 2 earned run, 9 Ks, 3 walks on 105 pitches, do we win? Yes. We better. Other kids pitching the gym if we lose that. I mean, my God.
And kids plural, because they're not even, they got
they have that spot starter. Yeah.
Unless old dad is trying to joke with us about unearned runs. He's like, well, but he gave up 6. Haha, but it was about defensive miscues.
Yeah, no. I'll take that line. If you're saying that's the line, I will take that and run to the bank Give me that line right now. I'm putting huge money on Florida State if that's the line. But that's going to be a tough ask. That's a really good team. Hey, wind blowing in. A lot of home runs between these two teams. Let's see if they get frustrated if it doesn't happen.
It's also a lot of jams he got out of if there are 12 base runners in 7 innings. So that's on the table. That's a lot of early swings for Tennessee. A lot of early swings. If it's only 105 pitches and there are 12 base runners, not including hit by pitches or anything like that or errors.
Yeah. Tennessee likes to throw out a starter, as they say. You guys understand the way the Rays and many teams do it. They'll throw out a reliever to start. He'll pitch an inning. They'll let him go as long as they can, somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 40 pitches, something like that. And then they go get the Causey kid. Isn't that his name? A lot of times. And or is he the guy who's the spot starter? I always forget.
It's Stamos is going tonight for them. Is it going to be the opener or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, the opener, however you want to call it. And he's a lefty. And if that'll be interesting. You know, Tibbs is somewhat mitigated by lefties. So that'll be fascinating to see how long they let him go. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. What this is. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Searching for the best place to host an event for your friends and family? The Golf Club at Summerbrook is more than just a place for a round of golf. It's also one of the best choices for hosting and celebrating the most special days in your life. From rehearsal dinners and baby showers to corporate banquets and kids' birthday parties, you'll receive amazing personal service and attention to every detail when you choose the Golf Club at Summerbrook. Find out how affordable it can be and call us today at 850-894-GOLF. That's 850-894-GOLF.
Oh my God, what happened to you? You're walking so crooked.
Well, I was walking my alligator and I tripped on a cypress knee and I spilled my margarita.
Oh my gosh, your margarita.
Yeah, I'm blowing my back completely out. I had to ride the alligator home. I don't know what to do. My back's killing me.
You're such a Florida man. You should know you should go to Finn Chiropractic.
Really?
You can go to their website and book an appointment and get you in as soon as possible. Go to finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
You mean 24 hours a day I can make my appointment online and pay for it?
Yep, right on their website.
Wow, and it's discounted?
Yeah.
All right, that's what Florida man needs to do.
No lines, no waiting. Visit FenChiro.com to book your next appointment with a discount. FENNCHIRO.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. It's Fen Chiropractic, where the chiropractors love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Finn Chiropractic.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Stop by Sherwin-Williams and get 30% off Super Paint products and Super Deck stains from June 14th through the 24th. It's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your bedroom, living room, or home office, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Shop the sale online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
I didn't even ask you, Tom. I'm not real sure that we were mentally prepared for having to do, and I say having to do, gladly doing, a red zone on such a baseball day. Where your mind is all on baseball, red zone associated with football, obviously. So my friends at Artisan Financial Services are obviously going to get their just due, but I know you being such a pro's pro, you were probably scrambling just right there during the break, making sure you knew you had something prepared for our friends at Artisan. That's my guess.
Yeah, well, no, what I did was regret it immediately, asking you the over-under for Jamie Arnold's start tonight. I was like, you idiot. You should have saved that for the red zone. That would have been a great red zone question number 1. But I didn't have to go to a website to go find one, or great websites out there like NoelRetirement.com. But I didn't have to go to a website to come up with some questions, because we do have 2 baseball games before we convene next on this show. So I've got questions, and they're going to be baseball ones. How could they? I'm sorry, I can't fake it. Asking about Kyle Morlock over under 22 catches this season. I can't do that on a College World Series Friday. It's very hard to do.
All right, well, then play the sounder, and I'll tell everybody about our friends at Artisan, and then you can ask me the questions. It'll be fun.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable!
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know. Always great. Always great. Are you prepared for success in the retirement red zone? 5 years leading up before your retirement date and immediate 5 years after. Critical times of thoughtful planning for you and your family. Our friend, fellow Noel Adam Tolliver, and his team at Artisan Financial Strategies prepared to help you find victory. Plan ahead. Make sure that you're ready to punch it across the goal line of retirement. You need to know how much money you have, and not running out of said money at the end of your life would be ideal. Guarding against rising healthcare costs, perhaps planning your legacy, whatever it might be. Allow the team at Artisan to combine their 30-plus years of planning experience and world-class resources to help you. NoelRetirement.com. That's NoelRetirement.com. All one word. Go check it out. Tom, questions are what?
All right, so we'll start with the defense for Florida State. The defense. Their fielding percentage is just under 980. It's a little over a half an error a game, if you want to do it that way. In 2 games this weekend, Florida State will have over or under 1.5 credited errors in the line score.
Over.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, follow-up question. Florida State will have over or under 2.5 errors in the field this weekend.
2 games, 2.5 errors. You're saying specifically in the infield, obviously.
I mean, they can come from anywhere. A pass ball could be, it just, there's a lot out there.
I'll go under 2.5. I'll go under 2.5.
So you like 2 errors. Okay. All right. We can live with that. We can survive through that.
Get a couple of errors. We'll be fine.
Okay. Question number 2. I've got a bunch. You just tell me when to stop. Because
keep going. Let's go. We're rolling. Big River.
So Brennan Oxford will throw over or under 4 1/3 innings this weekend between the 2 games.
Ooh, that is a good number, Tom. Under. Under.
By how much? What do you think? Is it? You like that? You like that number? No, just you like the number.
damn question. I got to come up with a new number.
No. I'm just you like the number.
I like the number, but I'm going to go under. Yeah.
Okay. Carson Dorsey will surrender. This is a big one now.
All right.
Will
Game
surrender.
Carson Dorsey, got it.
Over or under 3.5 runs. Don't care about earned, unearned. It's just total results. 3.5 runs over or under for Carson Dorsey.
Under.
Ooh, okay.
Listen, I'm more concerned about walks, but his stuff is electric. And you've seen a guy who in two very big moments here recently has not only answered the call, but straight up dominated. I think in this ballpark, because his problem, he's got two problems. He sometimes forgets to throw strikes and begins to walk a lot of people, and that gets annoying and gets him pulled from the game too frequently because control is the issue. The other problem, home run ball. The home run ball is mitigated completely by this ballpark, especially with that wind blowing in, if that's the case. So I don't think he's going to give up some cheapies like he sometimes does when he has to come into the zone. He's got late life in the zone. The only thing I worry about with him is, does he walk people? But if he's not going to walk people, he'll be out there, and I think his stuff is good enough to beat you time and again.
Offensive MVP for this weekend for Florida State will be whom?
Marco Dingus.
You nailed it. That's correct. Yeah. He's a guy who's got the power to leave the yard no matter what.
Well, he also hits line drives to the alleys, and so I think he's going to hit some timely line drive doubles, maybe even balls that would have left the yard with the compromised fence to Hauser that land and bounce around out there and drive in runs.
Well, that's the other thing. So we're 7th in the country in home runs this season. We're 15th in doubles, and you're going to have to lean on those doubles. The last question, and just hits in general that are not of the home run variety. Last question, over under 3. So you can vote to push here, but over under 3 home runs for Florida State this weekend.
Well, I mean, again, as of yesterday, and I'm going to do this as soon as the show is over, and maybe we can look at it during the next commercial break, but I will say that if that wind is blowing in, you're going to have a hard time getting it out of there. We've seen now the ball has been compromised, has been changed, and so, I have these mental blocks in my mind from where guys tattooed the ball and just watched it get caught on the track, and it's out of any other park throughout the year, but not out of that park. But with the balls flying a little bit more routinely than they had been in previous years in the College World Series, just by if they were using the same balls that they did during the season, which I assume they are. I'm going to push.
Okay, 3 on the number.
You gave me the out. I'm going to push. I think Ferrer will hit one to left that is a no-doubter. That we're going to go, yep, that's what he does. Because that dude's got raw power from the right side, and they're usually kind of, oh, man, that ball was stung. That ball that hit off the top of the scoreboard in the regional would have been out of that ballpark.
Yosemite. It would have been out of Yosemite.
Yeah.
Bonus question. Non-star. They've got a lot of really good players, but we know who the stars are. It's a no doubt. Non-star who comes up big this weekend for Florida State is?
Well, all of their outfielders in a way can be described as stars. Even Max Williams, who has double-digit home runs as a leadoff hitter, is kind of a star. So I really don't think you can go out that way. Tom, I don't know that they've got a non-star that will be huge this weekend, other than maybe Lodi's hitting line drives. Maybe Lodi's hitting line drives and hitting a bunch of doubles.
Sneaky power from Lodi's too. He does when he catches one. He can really rocket it. I would say the other candidate would be Diama's Ross coming in for defense later in games.
I thought that too. I just wondered if he'd get enough opportunities to be a star. He might. He's going to be critical. If you got a lead late, I think you make that change for sure. Out in center. If you get a 2 or 3 run lead and go in past the 7th, I'm making a defensive change. Yes.
Yeah. Well, how about it's the 6th inning and it's either a tie game or you're up by 1? And how about the 7th? It's an easier situation than the 6th because you're going to turn over the lineup.
Yeah.
And Max works a walk. We're getting Diama's on the field right then and there. We're putting Diama's on first, put him on the base paths, and then we're going to let him go play center field.
I don't want people to think I'm taking shots, too many shots. We're talking analytically about a sport where you can analyze position by position, whether you have plus or minus advantages over your opponent, and in no perfect team, right? You got guys that are just good college baseball players who may turn into great players someday, but aren't quite there yet. That is the case for Florida State at catcher. They do not have plus catching on this team. In fact, it's not good. It isn't. It's just period. It's just not good. So do those guys step up? West, if they go another route, I mean, do those guys, Holbrook, do those guys step up? And I'm talking about in the run game, Tom. I'm not talking about hitting. They also don't hit well. But do they throw people out if they're given opportunities? So
if Tennessee runs tonight, that would be a surprise. Again, they don't profile as a team that steals bases. Now, you can craft a game plan based upon your opponent. That much is fair, and you might be more aggressive in a situation like this where if you feel runs are scant, and you're not in Knoxville, you're not playing in Tallahassee, so my power advantage has been mitigated. You might force the issue a little bit more and play it a little bit differently and manage a little bit differently. But still, Tennessee's success rate isn't all world this year, and they have under 50 bags stolen. We've stolen a hell of a lot more bags than they have.
Yeah, I think teams are going to try to run against us out there. And the further we go along, may even start tonight, I think the further we go along, that scout's an easy one. It's not hard to pick up that we're struggling to throw people out. Okay. I think they'll run on us if they get on base. But this is where Jamie not walking folks is huge, and he doesn't normally allow for the opportunity to be. You got to earn your way on, and so if he's striking people out and keeping people off the bases, may not come into play here. Our friends at Tried and True, prepared to help you start saving and making money. That is a wonderful phrase, right? As a business owner, you get to choose between one of three offers. Okay, so you get to choose one of one, guys. That's all you get. That's your choice. No, you get one of three. $1,000 off point of sale system, no gateway charges for 1 year, free video menu or ad board when you become a Tried and True client. Offer is being extended from today through July 31st. Get in on the savings. Don't forget, my friends at Tried and True Consulting, they do you right. 10% of the net revenue that they make will go to the Battle's End. Call Don or Joe today, 844-463-6653 or 844-I'm4Noel for all the details. Tell them you want the Jeff Cameron Show special. And what a special it is. So that's the special you want. You want the Jeff Cameron Show special. Speaking of which, more in a moment. We'll come back. Wrap it up.
Your local news now.
A recently completed audit of mail operations in Tallahassee confirms what many residents have known for months. There are extensive issues with service, compliance, and even conditions at some of the facilities in the capital city. Reports from the United States Postal Service Office of Inspector General hone in on 5 audit areas, including mail clearance times, delayed mail, late, canceled, and extra outbound trips, scan compliance, and security of registry items. The audit revealed issues were identified in all 5 of those categories at the Tallahassee Processing and Distribution Facility. One of the findings saw there are only 2 full-time employees assigned to letter processing operations when 16 were needed. Congressman Neil Dunn has been vocal about the mailing issues. Dunn pressured USPS to take action, and in a statement Wednesday, Dunn called the problems an unacceptable failure. He said he and his office will continue to work with USPS to ensure recommendations get implemented as promised. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Bright sunshine this afternoon with highs around 96. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, 75. 99 tomorrow, a blend of clouds and sun. 98 Sunday with a chance of thunderstorms. 95 Monday, chance for storms continues. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 92 degrees.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com. There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So like different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti, right?
Yep,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape. And,
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Let's hear it, T. Lizzie. Let's hear that weather, buddy. I'm ready.
So,
audience wants it.
A couple of people in the chat are game to it. That's on the TV side. But what you don't know maybe is what way the stadium faces. Home plate faces out to the southeast. That is directly where the wind is coming from, as you talked about yesterday. So it will be blowing in from center, 8 to 10 miles an hour, sustained gusts about 16 to 20. So it's a healthy breeze to start the game. As the game goes along, it will be blowing in from left. So it shifts a little bit from center field direct, then in from left, a little bit more generous to right field than left field from that point moving forward. But no matter what, if the meteorologists are right, because I have the Charles Schwab, that's the name of the park, but you can actually pinpoint ballparks now on these weather apps. If they're correct, it's going to be blowing in all night long. So it should be very pitcher friendly.
Well, that's the exact forecast I gave on the Jeff Cameron Show yesterday afternoon, Tom. How about that? There we go. We nailed it. In my limited skill set, I figured it out. It's 1-0 North Carolina leading Virginia. Was that a home run?
Probably. Not.
It doesn't look like it. No, it was not a home run. All right. I'm watching this now, and I'm just enjoying sort of this the way that field looks on TV. It feels huge. When you pull it up, you're kind of like, I don't think anybody's going yard here today. But that just could be that I don't know if that's negative or positive.
I don't know that I want to pull up the game. It makes me like you see it and you're like, ooh, okay. That's where we're gonna be. All right.
I pulled up the game. I wanted to get a feel for what the sensory. I wanted to know, like, what does this look like to my eyes as the cameras? How are they presenting this tonight? I don't want to be surprised by anything. I'm ready to go. By the way, now this is just because Tom and I are good people. This is really what this is. We are going to join each other tonight here for this watch along for about 2 or 3 innings at 7:00. This is a shaky endeavor. I think you're asking a lot of me, Warchant. You are asking an awful lot of me here. Tom is dependable. I'm less dependable Friday nights at 7. And I just think that, my goodness gracious, I'm nervous too. I will be there. I will be watching, but I can't promise you it's going to be clean.
So I will have a language warning watermark on the top of the screen. That's what I'm going to do. So there you go. Language warning, and it'll have your cartoon character, and it'll have like a big X over, X and weird like exclamation points.
Yeah, the expletives. Yeah, the way they do it. Yeah,
at sign over your mouth, and it'll be like warning, incoming. But that's why we're not doing more than 3. Now we're dipping our toes in the water. If y'all want to come out and watch this thing with us on the live stream tonight, then maybe we'll expand it. We'll have more of the staff available as the College World Series goes along. And then Jeff could be even more nervous as the games mean more.
We'll see. I'm available tonight for these innings. That's what I'm going to tell you. We'll see what happens moving forward.
If you were me, would you set it up? Because now you know the place. Should I set it up for the upstairs or down in the basement?
I'd set it up down in the basement.
All right. Set up in the basement. Done.
I'd set it up in the basement. First of all, you got a wonderful basement scenario, but it's also a giant TV. So that's what you do. You do the giant TV down there, and you can yell crazy things, and nobody will hear you, and that'll be good.
I usually crack the window over by the driveway. So 131st Street will hear me, but yeah.
It's all right. They're driving by. They're not hearing anything. That's okay. You'll be all right. I already told my kids because they were like, well, Dad, I want to watch the finals game tonight. I'm like, it's 3-0 Boston. They're going to win the series. You already know that. I'm watching on my big-ass television the Noles against Tennessee. You and your friends can go to the back. I bought you both televisions. You can watch them on your little TVs with the door shut. And, oh, by the way, you better tell your friends that Mr. Cameron, he's a little salty. You'll hear some things. So I don't want anybody shaming me while I'm watching my TV.
And he's a little extra salty because of that second margarita he had before first pitch. So maybe this is the night we go over to your house, Kyle.
You bought me the margarita machine.
I did. Have you opened it? Have you used it?
I finally did, yes.
When was the first time you used it?
Oh, about a year ago.
Did it work?
Yes. I think I've had it for a couple of years, 3 years maybe. It was a wonderful purchase. I blame my wife. First of all, she never wanted me to have that thing. And she was mad that you bought it for me.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'm not mad at you. She wasn't mad at you. She was just mad in general. Like, you don't need this thing. You like margaritas already. You'll be making these left and right if this is in here in the kitchen, set up and operational. I'm like, you're damn right. That's what it's meant to do. And you buy that to use it. And so she did one of those things. Like Mario earlier today had a great moment in the chat here where he said, who garners more satisfaction? What do I get more satisfaction from? Technology not working and it's not my fault, or throwing away stuff that my wife, that I deem to be clutter or whatever, stuff that I throw away that, in the trash when she's not around. And he's right about that. That's pretty funny because there it is. Which engenders more relief from Jeff? Not being the one at fault when technology goes wrong, or getting away with throwing out one of Miss Cameron's garage clutters? Probably throwing away things when she's not around. Because, I secretly also derive pleasure for when she discovers it weeks later. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but I do. She gets so mad at me laughing, too. Why would you throw that out? I was saving that for such and such. And I just sit there smiling, and that makes her angrier. Because you can't unthrow it out and it's already been collected. It's like, well, if we have to get another one, you're not going to get another one. What? So that's how that works. But yeah, so she hid the margarita maker in the garage, and I didn't know where it was. This is before we opened it. She had moved it around one day, and then out of sight, out of mind. And then one day I was in the garage throwing out some of her stuff, and I found the margarita maker. So it was a double whammy. I threw her nonsense out and brought mine in and set it up. How great a day is that in the Cameron household? She comes home. Where's my such and such? I don't answer. She knows that's code for I probably threw it away. Then she says, have you seen? I don't answer. She knows that's code for I probably threw it away at some point. Then she says, why is the margarita maker set up in here? And then it all occurred. It was fantastic.
It's like a good montage. In JFK, maybe. It's the montage of the Zapruder film. So how about tonight, before, let's say in the third inning, you whip up a margarita.
That we're doing anything, yeah.
Yeah. You could bring your phone in with you for the process of making a margarita as we're watching the ball. That would be great. I think the people on the stream would get a real kick out of you making a margarita that's going to make you smile in the third inning of the game between Florida State and Tennessee.
I wasn't going liquor tonight, Tom. I think we'll save the margarita maker for the game 2. I don't. Game 1 does not require liquor for me.
But if we win, perhaps when we win, that's a night game on a Sunday, sir.
It doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, I can still have a margarita on it. Like, hey, that's a U.S. Open Sunday. That's a Father's Day. I got all the reasons.
Probably say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. Yeah, Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Happy Father's Day in advance to all the fathers out there. It is the greatest role we play and the most significant responsibility any man has. And I embrace all of you, my fellow fathers. It's an unreal feeling. So happy Father's Day to all of you. And, of course, Tom, we will say happy Father's Day to both of our dads who are alive and well.
That they are. And I sent my dad. So I was trying to get him some steaks like you've been pushing this week for a local company. Now, he lives in Palm Harbor, so we can't be doing that.
Right.
But the shipping costs were about half the price of the damn steaks, the whole package I was getting him. So you know what? He got cheesecake and chocolate fruit instead. That's what he got.
Cheesecake is delicious.
He loves cheesecake. He's going to be very happy with the gift.
You know, I don't eat a lot of dessert. I don't eat a lot of desserts. But if I'm at a place where desserts are available and I'm in the mood for a dessert, I almost always choose cheesecake if it's on the menu. So that was a good purchase. Your dad, and I'm liking that your dad loves cheesecake. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. And you know, by the way, there's a lot of different varieties of cheesecake. I was unaware of this many years ago. Now there's lots of different ways that people prepare cheesecake. None of them have ever been bad.
He has this thing where when he gets sweets, he has this little accent he puts on, like a weird. It's almost like Willem Dafoe. He goes, "Oh, cheesecake," or if you get him chocolate. You got me strawberries. All right. So he's going to call it, thanks for the strawberries and the cheesecake.
Do you think they win tonight?
Yes. Yes, I do.
That's a simple question a lot of times. And you and I are both brutally honest to our audience here. I will tell you when I don't think Florida State's going to win. I'll just say, nope, I don't think they do. But it's interesting. I wanted to ask you that, and you went with the yes, you think they will. I got to be honest. I'm leaning in that direction. I feel pretty good about their chances of winning tonight. I think they're filled with a whole lot of what for.
Yeah.
They've got a whole lot of get you some.
Yeah, they could go down 2-0 and they're not shutting down or woe is me. They'll get right back at the plate and they'll go to work.
Yeah, they're tough. Tennessee's a good team, so, you know, it's baseball and all those things, all those caveats. But, you know, they've got the moxie to go win tonight. They do. I'll talk to you this evening, Tom. He says goodbye. I say goodbye to you guys. Be well. Go Noles. Talk tonight. Peace.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass,